that's what led me to this one. And this was, he gave a list of 10, and this was the one that kind of piqued my interest the most. But it's, the first book is called The 2 Week Curse, where essentially it's these two former special forces guys, Eric and Rugrat, and they have become like security over in Africa. And it starts off with them doing that, and they run over an IED, and Eric's left arm and legs get blown off. And he wakes up in the hospital, and Rugrat's there with him, like they're battle buddies, and and they're talking, and there's this 2 week curse that has developed where people get this 2 week curse and they become a lot stronger, but after 2 weeks they disappear. And it's kind of the story. Well, what happens when they catch this 2 week curse? Their body starts special skills, like, and it kind of goes in. It's a lit RPG, so it kind of goes into the aspect of them being able to use magic and stuff, kind of like Jason Asanu. Um, but Eric develops. He was a combat medic, and he realizes that he can use his healing and regrow his arm and legs. And he regrows them, and then they go over to this new world. It's called the Ten Realms, and kind of it's the story of them going through these 10 realms, which is kind of like a super oppressive realm where each realm, to like, you start at level 1 and you gain experience by fighting monsters and stuff. And of course, they're military guys, so they bring all their military gear. Like, they know that they're going to be disappearing after 2 weeks, so they get all their shit together. Like, they've got packs, they've got rations, they've got ammo, guns, and they go into this new world that doesn't have any of that stuff. And you have to level up to level 10 to be able to go to the second realm. And the bottom realm is, just the trash, people, and it's just kind of the story of them going through that. And yeah, it's an interesting story. I will say this better as far as the writing. I thought the first book was kind of, it's a lot of just technical stuff that they're doing. Like, and even in the second book, maybe I've just gotten more into it, but like the second book, for the first 10, 15 chapters, it's the one is working on becoming a smith, and the other one's becoming an alchemist, and it's them going through and like learning how to develop their skills and how to get better, and like leveling those things up. So um but it has to be somewhat old, because it's, I mean, like I said, there's 10 books out, and that's not like can't imagine that you just went bam, 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 and threw out 10 books, you know. Yeah, exactly. So um yeah, it's been a decent read. I can tell you, I have it on Audible. Yeah, originally published July 2nd, 2018. They do. Like, I mean, obviously, I'm, I'm not military, but like, and they even talk about like other characters when they see them. They're like, these guys aren't even related, but they have this camaraderie that's odd to everybody else. And then they also talk about like their auras and like they're all these calm, cool, collected people, and then something sets them off, and everybody just is like, they went from nothing to full fucking like, and like everybody's like, I was deathly afraid. Like they went from just a calm, cool dudes to like, I fear that they're going to murder me real quick. Yep. Yep. Yeah. 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 Which I mean, they definitely both have their place in a story. I've noticed some similarities between the writing. Um, where the main protagonist has to be, this good guy that brings all these high moral virtues from their world, like there's healer groups, kind of like there was their Church of the Healer in Jason Asanu. There's healer groups in this that are dicks and only heal people for money and charge exorbitant amount of money and all this stuff. And then they come in and they're like, "Oh no, I can do that. 2 coppers." You know. Okay. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Well, yeah, and then they're like this one. They have a dungeon that's part of the world, that they go into, and like they're showing different aspects of it, and like how the people there have it versus, you know, I did find it weird. Like this culture, it seems like I don't know if the guy's Asian or if he has an Asian fetish, but all of the characters in this other realm are Asian. They have super Asian names. Um, like farming and stuff. Hmm. Okay. This has what are this has what are called mana gates throughout the body, and there's one in an elbow, one in different places, and you have to go through and unlock each one to become more powerful. Yep. And they actually do have monster cores in this too. Hmm. Yeah. See, and that's yeah. I don't know. I find it kind of weird that like I mean it basically what they're doing is just taking the Jason Asanu world, Shirtaloom's world, and then just adapting the changes that they want. Like it's almost like they're almost writing fan fiction. You know, I mean they're changing a little bit and changing different style of things, but you know, yeah, yeah. And maybe that's what I mean, because there's not a ton of. I don't know. I suppose I wonder how many unique story. There's got to be just tons of unique stories out there, though. Like that, I'm saying, like, but aren't off of like other people's ideas. Like, what is Red Rising based off of? Like, if you had to say June, Dune, but compare Dune, which you've seen the. I don't know if you've read the Dune books. I haven't read the books, but I've watched the movies, and those two are so far apart. Yeah. Um, but as opposed to like this, you could just see this being like almost another he who fights with monsters, he who goes into monster dungeons, or something like that. Yeah. So it's I don't know. I wonder how many like original, like Tolkien. I mean, even Harry Potter was such a unique original story. Game of Thrones. I think that's what Game of Thrones. Percy Jackson. Yep. Um, they're such unique stories. Yes. Yeah. Was he? Wasn't. Yeah. I I think what was funny about it is that everybody in his party started calling him out on it. Oh, I don't know why we're worried. Jason's just going to die and come back with some new ridiculous fucking power, and everything's going to be fine. So whatever. And like the fact that he called, and then but just the fact that he kept like his characters started calling out, like he must. I don't know if people were giving that feedback or he saw it himself, but then to call yourself out on it makes it like almost okay. Yeah. Yep. But he wasn't just killing monsters at the end. Yeah. And that's where the morality of it came in. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and even how he always called him Mr. Asano, and then like when shit got real and he yelled, Jason. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. What a glowing recommendation. Do you ever want, if you ever want noise in your ear, okay? Of course. Yeah, that sounds boring as fuck. Leave that paw alone. Yeah. Yeah. That and I've told you I'm not taking any book recommendations from you. Huh? Cool. Oh, yep. We've talked about this for like the last 4 weeks. Well, see, I like the seriousness of it. I like the intensity. Yeah. Yeah. But in order to for that stuff to kind of resonate, like you have to like you can't just I just it can't be just a boring story about a guy who wants to be a girl dad. It has to be a guy who's torn between being the savior of his people and of his kind and to being a dad. And that's all he wants, but he knows he can't. And like that's the hook of it. I, I never watched Treasure Planet. No. I will say I've seen some funny TikToks um, that have talked said, I'd tell you that I love you so much that if you died, I'd replace my eyes with yours, but you're not that nerdy. I saw it and I was like, oh my God, that is so good. Worse. But it did die. It did die. It does die. Hasn't it? Yeah, you're early. You're real early. Oh, it's so good though. Like, yeah. Because have you even read Dark Age? Oh, you haven't. Oh, I didn't realize you were that far behind. I thought you just hadn't read Lightbringer. I didn't realize you hadn't read Dark Age. Yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna say one. Well, I don't know how soon you'll get there, but I'm gonna leave you with this, and I'm just gonna say Ulysses. That's all I'm gonna say. You'll when you get there, you're gonna stop and you're gonna be like, "Oh fuck." Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, at this point, you can't be mad. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I believe that. Yeah, yeah. That was a brutal one. Like, that was an instant have to pick up Morningstar, and like, I wouldn't have. Yeah, I wouldn't have cared if it was fucking 3 o'clock in the morning and I stayed up to finish Golden Sun. I would have started Lightbringer that day. She does not. She hasn't finished. I don't think she's read Dark Age either. Oh, I don't know. It's super weird though because I'm like, hey, like I'll ask her. I'm like, hey, I need a book to read. What should I read? And she's like, I'm not the person to ask, and like will not give me book recommendations. But I was doing it because I wanted to have something in common. It wasn't that I thought that she's going to have like these great, awesome, amazing books that I'm going to be able to read. But I wanted, That's why I read The Fourth Wing, because she was super into it. Yeah. Yeah, I told her I read it for her. Like, and that's what, if I ask her, like, what book I should read, it's not because I want to read what she's interested. I want to be able to read something that she's interested in. I want to know what, like, okay, what's your favorite book? I'll read it because I want to see what makes you happy. Yeah, maybe. I liked the movie. What you have to do. Nope. Yeah, which I think that's what movies should do. I don't know. I don't know about that. Hmm. But is that because you didn't like, because do you think it's because they weren't that good? Like, if you think, if you had seen them in reverse order, like seen the movie first and then read the book, do you think that if you hadn't given yourself the pre-notion of what it was supposed to be and how it was supposed to go, that that influenced why you didn't like it, because you didn't like the changes that were made, or how it was different from the book, or how a character was different? Maybe they cast somebody that you didn't like, and those small things can throw you off with how you built a character up. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, there's one coming out that I guarantee you haven't read. It's a Stephen King book called The Long Walk. Okay, that's a book. You know what you should read? The Dark Tower. No, it's an old Stephen King. I read it in high school. Yeah. And I think it was old when I read it in high school too. Yeah, I believe it. So did The Simpsons, didn't they? Yeah, probably. The youngest, I don't know how I feel about it, but he's reading Red Rising right now. He's he's in Golden Sun right now. I don't know how much he pays attention to it and how much of those concepts he's going to actually like pick up, you know? Yeah. At this point in I don't know, at this point I feel like they're getting way more than what they're letting on in school with what their friends like there was I can remember when my kids were young a lot younger like 4 or 5 and we had neighbor kids coming over and talking to them about watching like Chucky and stuff like that and I'm like my kids now at 12 and 9 won't watch that stuff like why are you letting a 4-year old watch this stuff. Mhm. And so it's yeah. Yep. That's a fucked up one. Yeah, that's a real messed up stuff. Yeah. Yep. And but was it because you enjoyed it, or was it because it was something that you weren't supposed to watch? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That's why my kids never watched it. If they're going to be watching cartoons, I wanted them watching something somewhat just non-brain rot. I think they've watched that. Correct. Yeah. I don't know. Like they've been watching One Piece. I don't think it's that good. I think there's just so long and drawn out and like and even like Dragon Ball Z, like it's very long and drawn out. Like it's like, all right, we need to make as much money as we can. And so what we're gonna do is when we're gonna fight this main boss, the boss is gonna show up, but he's gonna show up 17 episodes before because you're not gonna know when we're gonna fight. So you gotta watch these next 17 episodes before the main character even shows up to the fight. Mhm. Well, yeah. How long have people been waiting for Stranger Things season 5 to come out? They're having the final season comes out this month, I think. Well, it's a really good show. I like it, but I never watched that one. So, in other words, they ran into a Game of Thrones problem and realized the errors that Game of Thrones made. And although I don't know if I can say the errors because we're still waiting on exactly. Like, it's been how many years now, and he still hasn't released the book. Oh, the show did such a good job. I don't know what I'm going to do better. Mm, they got some good endings. Although I was really hoping that they would do like some spin-offs for that. Yeah. Yeah. The West of Westeros. Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't have mind seeing Jon Snow like up north with like the free folk. Yeah. Yeah. Well, but I mean, I don't know. There's so many different ways that you could go about it. Like people that want to come over and take over the north now that, you know, the threat of the White Walkers is gone. Or exactly. You know, I mean, there's definitely ways that you could go about it. Yeah. Uh, I I thought the yeah. I don't know. I liked the little magic that they had in that where it wasn't like overpowering, but then you had like the Red Witch who had some magic and like they did I thought they did the magic really well in that where it was like unique, but it wasn't like over the power, over the top powerful. Most of the characters were just average and well, exactly. And it becomes and it has to like the cost then to make shows like that becomes so much more, you know. And but if you just have little magic things that come in every so often, like Jon Snow coming back from the dead or killing one of the Baratheon brothers, I can't remember which one it was, Renly. So which was better, the books or the show? We found it. We found it already. We we found it already. Like we talked to, like yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Which one? Did you watch the show first or read first? Okay. Yeah. But the, it doesn't, you can't even say the historical effect of it. It's a different world and different continents, and like, you can't say it's even history. Yeah. No. No. Like I said, I'm interested to hear The Long Walk now, too. Yeah. Yeah. See, I listened to The Long Walk, and I did it while I was on walks with my dogs, too. Yep. Mm, 007. Oh, you want to hear something messed up that happened today? So it was during the day. I'd let my dogs out, and all of a sudden they started barking, and I'm like, "Fuck!" So I go back and I go to let them in. Let them in. They come flying in, run in the house, and I walk through my kitchen, get into the hallway, and all of a sudden I look down and I see like stuff on the floor, and I'm like, "The fuck is that? Why is there red stuff on the floor?" And I turn back, and there's blood all over my kitchen floor. And I don't know what my dog caught his foot on, but tore the shit out of his foot, and he is just dripping blood. There's like 8 big blood spots in the kitchen on the carpet. So of course I start yelling at him because I'm like, get the fuck off my carpet and get into your area. And yeah, it was such a fucking pain in the ass. And I had to like, and then by the time I got his foot like covered up and taped up, then I have to put a sock over it because otherwise he'll just eat off the bandage. All the blood's dried, so then I'm on the floor fucking scrubbing blood up. And I just used shop towels and fucking water. Yeah. I mean, it was on hardwood floors, so, but still. Oh, I got it scrubbed mainly out of the carpet in the one area. There's a couple of rugs that it didn't really come out of, but they're the dog's rugs, so fuck them. They can have bloody rugs. No, I have no idea. It looked like he like caught one of his nails on something because it looked like one of his nails was like poking the wrong direction. Yeah, like I said, I covered it in gauze, put tape on it, and then put one of my old socks and taped the sock on his leg, and So I don't know what acrylics is, but oh, oh, yep, yeah, yeah. That probably already happened. I think we started in October. You know what I do find funny is what is Jason Asanu's thing that they're constantly eating in He Who Fights with Monsters? He's eating sandwiches all the time. All the time. Neil eats sandwiches like they're going out of style. I loved when Nick and Neil were getting food before Jason came back, and they're like, Nick, how many sandwiches did you get? Or Neil, how many sandwiches did you get? I don't know. How I just got a bunch of sandwiches. Why? When you ordered the sandwiches, how many did it say it was made to feed? I don't know. It was an Elvin bakery, so they're smaller portions. Okay. I'm one person. I ate one. How many was it supposed to feed? It was the family of six bundle. So are you eating five portions of sandwiches? Yes. I just they're all full of mana, so they can eat whatever they want. They don't have to poop.